are you all doing today? Thank you for being a part of today's focus group on developing customer insight with Zoho CRM segmentation and marketing attribution. As the name suggests, today we look into segmentation and marketing attribution from top to bottom. We'll discuss what it does, how it works, and how you can use it. I'm Sushmita from the Zoho community, and I will be walking you through the session today. With me are Ushitwa and Bala, who will be our panel. Bala and Ushitwa are the product managers behind marketing attribution and segmentation, respectively. They've been overlooking its development from day one. So do make the most of our panel today and feel free to ask them any related questions that pop up. We have a Q&A session towards the end of today's focus group, but you can ask questions as the session progresses using the chat interface. We have had to pre-record this webinar to avoid technical difficulties as much as possible. However, if we do face issues during the session, please be kind as to let us know in the chat box and we'll rectify it as soon as possible. Here's a look at what we'll be covering today. We'll check out what segmentation is, what it does, and how it fits your business model. We'll look at its different components and see how we can implement it with Zoho CRM. We'll also see what marketing attribution does, how it fits into your business process, and its different components and models. We'll see how we can set up marketing attribution in Zoho CRM and how we can view and utilize its different reports. On to what segmentation is. Now, did you know that on an average for small businesses, 80% of your future profits come from just about 20% of your existing customers? And that 65% of your annual business comes from existing customers as well. Now, customer retention is clearly a vital part of any business's growth and annual revenue. And after that first sale, it only gets trickier to keep them on board. On an average, we lose about 15% of our customers a year. Now, based on how much existing customers contribute to your future profits, that's quite a large chunk. So today, let's look at what we can do to combat that loss. Understanding your customers' needs and making sure your upsell, cross-sell, and resell strategies are in line. Well, this is basically what segmentation is. It lets you group or segment your customers based on various parameters and then analyzes them. Now, doing this lets you identify different sectors. For example, you have a group that's most loyal to you and will most likely stick with you in the long run and perhaps even be interested in branching out and making bigger purchases. Then we have the problem areas, your group of customers who are on shaky ground and might be hard to convince to stay on. Reaching out to these folks with a tailor-made strategy could prove to be all the difference. We'll be able to identify several other groups based on recency, frequency, monetary values, based on their geography, demography, loyalty, or transaction type. We'll look at how we can enable segmentation and its components in a bit. For now, let's look at what marketing attribution is. We all spend quite a chunk of our time and resources in marketing strategies and campaigns, quite understandably. Marketing plays a vital role in customer acquisition and retention. However, analyzing these marketing efforts and ensuring that they are achieving their goals is just as important. Only about 22% of marketers say that they track and analyze how well their campaigns are doing. Attributing campaigns to their outcome lets us choose which kind of campaigns work best for us and target our future campaigns in the same direction. It also tracks all the touch points of the journeys from leads to customers. Sales and marketing cycles in any business are quite lengthy processes that last for months, and it's likely that the buyer interacts with the representatives several times throughout multiple channels during this period. So, tracking and capturing the touch points that help close the sale with marketing attribution helps you understand if your campaigns are actually driving revenues and helps you figure the right campaign that actually moved the buyer down to the decision path. Let's look at how segmentation works in your business scenario. Now, segmentation is applicable for just about any kind of business that you're into. Know that you can easily replicate this implementation for your industry as well. Our real estate, our retail business is a medium to small business with a line of products that we sell. As we offer an array of products, we need to ensure that our sales pitches are to each of these customers are tailor made and are simply something that would interest them. Now, suppose you want to sell a pricey new product to your customers. How do you do it? Well, normally you'd extract a list of customers who have spent the most. Equating your customers who spend more money would be more likely to make this purchase. In that list of customers, here's what you have. You have a percentage of people who have made large purchases, yes, but you also have customers who have made small purchases over a long period, totally amounting to high spending. You also have customers who have made large purchases but only several years ago and hence might not be interested in making another large purchase after such a long duration. You also have customers who made a few large purchases very recently and might not be interested in investing that amount again right away. Now there are a few customers missing from this list who might be interested in purchasing the product as well. You have your customers who have made large purchases, but which are very few in number and hence do not total up to end up on that list, but they might be interested in buying too. Now, the problem with selling to the list we created is twofold. Firstly, we spam the high percentage of customers in the list, those who do not want the product. And we spent resources on the same while we could be pitching other products from our business line that could actually fit their needs. And secondly, we have left out a considerable chunk of customers that our new product could actually appeal to. Segmentation with its RFM model helps combat both these issues. What is an RFM model? Well, let's look at that now. RFM stands for segmentation's three metrics: recency, frequency, and monetary value. That is, you have how recently your customer made a purchase, how many times your customer made a purchase, and how much they spent. Recency is perhaps the most important of the three factors of segmentation. Your customer's recency helps define their current state. Now, recency might not be the same throughout. A customer is considered active if they've made a purchase from you recently. However, the definition of recent may vary from business to business. For some of your products, it could be a couple of months, and for others, it could be even a year or two. Frequency of customer purchase is just as relative. The idea of employing frequency is to understand the trend of purchase and to understand the timeline of potential future revenue. Let's say one of our customers ordered a small price product every week. Here the frequency is high as it is 1 week when compared to someone who say orders the same product once a month. Now this is an important metric to use. You can send in emails if the customer missed a particular week or couple in some offers to keep the streak going and etc. Say a customer has high frequency, then the vendors might feel like he can be the best user to try some promotional offers as well. Many factors influence your customer's frequency of purchase. The usefulness of your product, its price, market trends, and consumption are some factors that affect this. In our business, say we do have regular customers for a particular product, But market trends forces to amp the price of a product or a competitor drops theirs. Whose product will your customer rely on? It also depends on how fast you promise to deliver the product, the features your product might or might not possess, and more. All of this can be looked into based on your frequency of purchase. Monetary aspect of segmentation helps you differentiate your smaller purchases from your larger ones in a highly informed manner. Our customers who typically spend more can be seen as ripe prospects for cross-sell opportunities and key in the customer retention aspect. Smaller purchases over a longer period can total up to a higher monetary spend, and larger purchases infrequently could do the same. It makes sense to know the monetary value of the customers and take necessary steps to retain them. At the same time, you need to take into consideration the other metrics to implement the current marketing strategies. This is how segmentation looks. Segmentation works by assigning scores for each of its metrics. Score assignment can be done either manually or automatically. However, only manual scoring is available for Enterprise Edition, so we'll look at manual scoring today. In manual scoring, we can allocate a number between 1 to 5 or a custom score for each of the metrics, signifying how progressive the recency, frequency, and monetary values are. If multiple purchases are made recently, a higher recency score is given. If multiple purchases are made often together, they get a higher score and a frequency. And if purchases add up to a large amount, they get a high score and a monetary. RFM gives a combination of these assigned scores which can be labeled, and a label is assigned to the record for future reference. Our second method has us assigning scores for specific sectors under each metric. Suppose your business sells products under 5 prices: $10, $20, $50, $70, and $100. Then customers purchasing the $10 product would get a score of 1, and those purchasing a $100 product will get a score of 5. Same goes for frequency and recency. Once you set the scores for each segment, you can implement them in your CRM to identify the champion customers, loyal customers, and those that need attention, and a few others. This understanding can greatly influence your customer and your customer success rate. Segmentation is available under setup and under automation. Go to your setup, and under automation you'll find your segmentation. Click on create new segment. Now you start with your segment name. I'm going to name it retail segmentation. Now choose your segment module. Segmented module is the module for which you want to configure segmentation. In other words, the module that stores the customer details. Here we'll select our contacts module. You can choose your customers module or anything to that effect. The contributing module. The contributing module delivers information and metrics related to purchases done. That is the module where you register the sale. For example, either your products module or your deals module. But it must contain all the RFM fields, which is say purchase date, subscription level and amount, total spent, and the like. I'm going to choose my deals module. Now your linking field is a lookup field within your contributing module that connects you to your segmented module. So the linking field option will list all the lookups available. I have a single lookup field, so it has automatically selected contact name. You can select the desired lookup field from the drop down. But for example, between contacts and deals, there can be multiple lookups like primary contact, interested contact, initial contact, etc. So you can pick the desired lookup field and based on your desired outcome. On to our RFM fields. Let's choose a recency field here. Here you can choose any date or time based field as your recency field. We'll choose closing date as a recency field here. However, you can always go with your sales completion date or whatever signifies your sale being made. Frequency can either be done manually by field or you can choose by count. I'm going to go by count, but you can go by field and choose choose one. Yeah. So by count. So if you have like a number of purchases field or something listed here, you can choose that. I'll go with by count. A monetary field is any currency field that indicates spend. Deal amount or purchased amount or anything equivalent works here. If a customer has purchased multiple products or contact has many closed deals associated with it, then the system will automatically compute an aggregate amount and derive a value for the monetary field. I'm going to choose amount. Our third step is to define global rule entry. You can either choose to you can either choose to apply segmentation to all your records or based on a particular criteria. Here you can define rules for a contacts module or the segmented module of your choosing by adding criteria based on region, product industry, industry type, or preferred service. Anything to evaluate the purchase pattern. You can keep adding criteria as you want for and or as you like, but I'm going to go with segmenting all my records. Our fourth step is our score range. Now this is quite a big one. Like we said earlier, score can be set either by default or manually when it comes to enterprise edition. So we'll show manual scoring today. You can select your score range either 1 to 5, 1 to 4 or 1 to 3. I'm going to go with 1 to 3 because that seems quite reasonable. Now let's start adding our scores for our recency field. Closing date is after August 8th. Closing date is between, let's go to the beginning of the year, say February 10th to August 8th, and score of 1 when it is before February 10th. There we go. Frequency. A score of 3 if the count of deals is greater than, let's go with greater or equal to 3. Score of 2 if it is equal to 2, and a score of 1 if it's lesser than or equal to 1. Onto a monetary aspect. Amount greater or equal to 10,000, we give it a score of 3. Amount is between 5,000 to a 10,000, we give it a 2. And if it is less than or equal to 5,000, we give it a 1. Now labels. Now now that we have been redirected to labeling our segments, this is our fifth and final step. Here we already have predefined labels here. For each label, we need to define our RFM range that has been chosen. A label will be assigned to every possible score in the combinational bracket. So once that's done, let's submit. But before that, let's look at how we can delete any of these labels. So you just delete using this, or you can even edit a label of your choosing. You can change the name, edit the scores, and if you'd like to add custom labels, you can always add a new label that you want. So we are done. Now let's publish it and see how it works. Publish it and see how it works. Done. So let's go to our contacts module and see how it works. So let's go here. Here, you can view your segmentation here. As you can see, this so this is our last deal that was created. So it was created on 10th September. So a recency score of 3. 3 deals are associated. So we have a frequency score of 3 and a total of 31,500, which exceeds our 10,000 limit. So we have a score of 3 here. Our label for champion, our segment label is champion for when recency is 3, frequency is 3, and monetary is 3. So this is one of our prime candidates right here. You can also view your segmentation history over here. So this allows you to see which of your contacts associated with your deals have a higher segmentation label. Let's go back to the retail business we were talking about. So like we said earlier, we have a big new product just getting into the market and it needs to be sold. Your marketing team gets right on it and runs campaigns to boost sales. But at the end of the day, there is no easy way to determine which of these campaigns played how great a part in our revenue generation. This not only helps you attribute specific teams to their quality of work, but it helps you understand which marketing campaigns work for your product and which do not. Marketing attribution comes with an array of Marketing attribution comes with an array of reports that help you identify your ROI with respect to campaigns. It gives you insight into your campaign, a list of campaigns with greatest ROI, top revenue generating campaigns, leads generated based on type of campaign, conversions based on type of campaign, revenue generated based on type of campaign. It lets you compare revenue generated with the previous month. It compares conversions with the previous quarter or year, and it compares leads generated with the previous quarter or year. Before we see how we can set up marketing attribution, let's look at its different components. There are 6 different models that can attribute your marketing campaigns. At any particular moment, only one of these types of models can be running in marketing attribution. So today let's look at how each of these works before deciding what fits our business best. We have our first touch, our last touch, our U shape, W shape, linear, and time decay. Our first touch model. Now, this model is especially helpful in lead generation and brand awareness. For the for the new product that we were talking about in our retail company, say we first run an ad campaign, and then we have an online survey campaign for the product, and finally we book a slot in an expo or an event for prospects to test our product. Now, say the customer first gets to know about the product through our ad campaigns. Then he takes the survey and finally tests our product at the expo and purchases the product. In our first touch model, it will attribute the lead conversion for the first touch point, that is the ad campaign, at the top of the funnel, and it will get 100% credit. Our last touch model is similar to the first touch model but attributes 100% of the credit to the last touch point. In our use case, that would be the expo while the customer tested our product. In our U-shaped model, majority of the credit is given between the first touch and the last touch point. That's lead creation and deals won. The remaining credit is split equally between the touch points in between. So in our example, the ad campaign would get a 40%, the expo would get another 40%, which would leave our survey with the remaining 20%. Our W shape helps us emphasize the three major transitions that impacts a customer's journey. This is quite similar to our earlier U shape, but instead of our touch points there, here we attribute 30% to our lead creation, 30% to our deal creation, and 30% to our deals won, and 10% is evenly distributed among the rest. Linear shape is equal in its credit distribution. It gives a comprehensive idea of middle touch points, which may be equally important in generating revenue as the first or the last touch. In our example we discussed earlier, the three campaigns would each be given 33.33%. If you have a larger sales process and you feel like a few of the touch points just aren't contributing as much, you can choose the credit weightage for each campaign and also exclude the ones that you think do not have much impact on the sale. Time decay lets you simply attribute a higher credit to the most recent marketing campaign that has influenced closure. When you have a long sales process or a long sales cycle, it helps attribute the most recent touch points rather than give undue credit to earlier campaigns. For example, if the last marketing campaign that interacted with the client was the survey that we took, and this was after the expo, the survey will gain precedence in being attributed. Now, our U and W models are open to customization to ensure your attribution to your sales cycles fit your business. The U lets you add 2 stages in between, and the W lets you add 3. Our model is set such that you can customize each of these touch points, but you can add your stages between deals creation to deals won stage. You can customize the credit percentages based on each touch points by applying your own weightage if you know which campaign had the highest impact or the one that was most responsible for pushing the customer down to the sales funnel. Marketing attribution can be accessed from your setup page under automation. We'll go with our W-shaped model for today, but I want to show you how you can customize your linear model as well. Like I said earlier, the linear model can be customized based on weightage, and you can also leave out a few stages if you'd rather not contribute it. If you rather it does not attribute to your ROI. Here, under your weightage option, you get to select your campaign type that you want. For say advertisement, you want to attribute 3, and for webinar, you want to attribute 4, and for a trade show, you want to attribute a couple. And say you do not want a couple of campaigns here, you don't want your banner ads, you don't want your referral program, you can exclude these from being attributed. So let's look at our W-shaped model. So like we said earlier, stages can be added only for your U and W-shaped model, and it can be added only between your deals creation and deals 1 stage. So you choose your stage that you want. Say you want negotiation review and you want to attribute 5% to it. Now this red line lets you connect it to the last stage that you like to attribute for your ROI. The W allows you 3 touch points, but I'm quite happy with the original one. I'm going to attribute 40% to my deals 1 stage, 30% to my deals creation, and 30% to my leads creation, leaving nothing amiss. And you see, if you're creating a new attribution, you'll have save option here. I'm updating my earlier marketing attribution process. Once that is done, you'll be able to view your marketing attribution under each campaign. So for example, my Q3 sale, you can see your statistics here. Here you can view all the leads that have been invited, responded to, and your contact statistics as well. Here you have your actual cost of the campaign and revenue generated from the number of deals in that campaign. And this gives you your ROI, the number of deals. You can, if you have open deals associated with this campaign, you can choose to view that too. Now there are different reports that come with marketing attribution. You have campaign with the greatest ROI, top revenue generating campaign, leads generated based on type of campaign, and a lot of others, like we said earlier. So here are a couple of examples. Leads generated based on type of campaign. You can see the record count based on your type of campaign, whether it's a webinar, conference, a survey, trade show, anything of the sort. Now these insightful reports helps you determine which campaigns are responsible for closing your specific deals. You can even determine exactly how much total revenue a particular campaign has been able to generate. And conversely, you can assign budgets for each campaigns that do work, for the ones that don't, or strategize the campaigns that do not work properly for your business in ROI generation. Your reports can be accessed from your analytics tab. This could also be named as dashboards in your CRM. Now let's look at marketing attribution reports. Marketing attribution gives us a list of predefined reports and also lets us add our own components or reports. Your reports are available under the analytics module. It could also be seen as your dashboards module in Zoho CRM. And it lists down the type of reports you have. These predefined reports with their metrics give you a view of how well your campaigns have done based on time, campaign type, and a lot more. Here we have a campaign with greatest ROI report. It lists down all the campaigns in an order of a highest ROI. You can choose to edit this report as well. You can change its duration, you can change the number of campaigns that are listed here, and its KPI metrics as well. Now, this report gives you an overall picture into how well your campaigns have done in terms of returns and will enable you to identify campaigns to invest in the future. Our next report is our top revenue generating report. This gives us numbers in terms of monetary value of how well the campaigns have done. Then we have conversions based on type of campaign report. That gives us insight into how each type of campaign has proven in terms of number of conversions. The next one shows us the number of leads generated for each type. As we can see, trade show type of campaigns are taking the lead in both these reports. Now, in contrast to that, we have our revenue generated based on type of campaign report. In this aspect, our webinars outweigh the trade show element. We also have reports to compare revenue generated with that of last month, to compare leads generated with the last quarter or year, and conversions with the last quarter or year. All of these reports collectively help you make decisions based on which campaigns you need to invest into and which campaigns you need to analyze better. Thank you for joining us for our focus group webinars on segmentation and marketing attribution today. We hope you learned to implement both these features in Zoho CRM, and we are open to taking any questions that you might have on either of these two features. Bala and Ushatwa are here at the panel and are ready to answer your questions, so feel free to post your questions in the chat interface. Thank you.